Hello, and welcome again to the Bench Report, where we discuss recent debates and briefings from the benches of the UK Parliament. A new topic every episode. You're listening to Amy and Ivan.
So today we're focusing on a recent and really important discussion. It's all about securing better support for dyslexic pupils in UK schools.
And this is a massive issue, isn't it? It's often hiding in plain sight.
It really is. We're talking about a neurological difference that affects approximately, 1 in 10 people.
1 in 10. So in our classrooms right now, that's
well over 1 million children. A huge number.
And the most important point that came out of the material for me was the clear distinction made. Dyslexia is not and was never tied to intelligence.
Not at all. In fact, the conversation stressed that dyslexic individuals often have incredible strengths.
Things like creativity and innovative problem solving.
Exactly. And fantastic visual reasoning skills.
Right.
But the system, the way it's set up, it makes so many young people feel, inadequate or even ashamed.
And that failure seems to begin right at the start with just identifying who needs help.
It does. The statistics are quite shocking, actually. 4 out of every 5 dyslexic pupils leave school without ever having their needs formally recognized.
4 out of 5. That's the core failing. And it seems to be defined almost entirely by economics.
It is. Because dyslexia isn't classified as a medical condition, there's no standard NHS pathway for a diagnosis.
Which means families are left on their own.
Entirely. It becomes this purely financial hurdle. They have to find private educational assessments, which cost, on average, upwards of £600.
And that immediately creates this huge inequality.
A massive one. You see it in the numbers. Something like 90% of children in high-income households will get that diagnosis.
And for lower-income households,
it drops to just 43%.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't afford that initial assessment, you're essentially locked out of getting support.
The consequences of that are just devastatingly predictable, aren't they? They must ripple well beyond the classroom.
They absolutely do. You see a massive educational attainment gap open up.
So what does that look like in practice?
Only 1 in 5 dyslexic pupils achieve a grade 5 or above in English and math. Compare that to over half of their peers without special educational needs.
And that lack of early support, that loss of confidence, it has to lead to wider social exclusion.
It's directly linked. The discussion highlighted a genuinely alarming figure. Estimates suggest between 30 and maybe even 50% of the prison population is dyslexic.
That's a shocking overrepresentation. It's a clear sign of what happens when basic educational needs just go unmet for years.
And when you look at the classroom itself, you can see why this happens. The curriculum, especially those high-stakes exams like GCSEs.
They seem almost designed to penalize students who struggle with reading work and memory recall.
They really are. They prioritize speed and spelling over whether the student actually understands the material.
On top of that, there's the problem of having the right tools.
That's another huge barrier. Assistive technology, things like word processors or text-to-speech software, is essential for so many learners.
And yet so few have access to it.
A tiny fraction. Only 18% of dyslexic people reported having the technology they needed at school. It's like asking someone with poor eyesight to read without glasses.
So given all these systemic failures, what were the actionable solutions being put forward? How do we fix this?
The calls for change were robust, and importantly, they were cross-party. First, a proper National Dyslexia Strategy and a dedicated national body for SEND to coordinate standards.
But the truly transformative idea seemed to be universal screening.
Yes, screening for neurodiversity for all children, starting in primary school.
Is that actually feasible, though, with school budgets being what they are?
Well, the argument is that it's the only way forward. That delaying screening is actually fiscally irresponsible in the long run.
Because it's more cost-effective to identify needs early.
Far more. You avoid trying to fix years of lost learning later on. But that screening, of course, has to be backed up.
By empowering teachers.
Absolutely. The debate really emphasized statutory training on neurodiversity, both in initial teacher training and then throughout their careers.
So teachers can feel confident making those simple in-class adjustments themselves.
Exactly. Without waiting for a formal, expensive diagnosis, it's about shifting the whole system to measure real understanding, not just penalizing memory or spelling where it isn't the core skill.
It makes you think. When we consider those strengths we mentioned at the start, the creativity, the innovation that neurodiverse thinking offers, skills the modern economy desperately needs, What national talent are we sacrificing by failing to implement these basic changes?
That is the central question of this entire issue.
As always, find us on social media at Bench Report UK. Get in touch with any topic important to you. Remember, politics is everyone's business. Take care.
Hello there, this is Tom, the producer of The Bench Report. Listener suggestions are vital to my mission of making politics more accessible and accountable. So, if you have an issue that's really important to you, personally or professionally, and want to know what those in power are doing about it, please get in touch via email or via our socials at Bench Report UK. I'll grab another coffee and start scanning those parliamentary archives.